That's early footage of Sid. That's early footage of Sid, and we can see that he's not altogether. He looks a bit fragile then, doesn't he? But that's Sid early on in the career. Okay, let's move on to the next bit. But Gilmour's guitar work in that song is fantastic. You know, it's lyrical and it's a lament. It's a lament. You can hear the lament in the crying in the guitar work. Crying of the loss of Sid. Right. The next song that I've chosen is Time. And this is Pink Floyd's version of Shakespeare's Five Ages of Man. It's talking about going from childhood to teenagehood to old age. And it's a brilliantly crafted song, very, very cleverly constructed. But anyway, here's the lyrics. Taking away the moments that make up a dull day. Teenagers, You're boring. You fritter and waste the hours in an offhand way. Kicking around on a piece of ground in your own town. A great line. Kicking around on a piece of ground. The internal rhyme suggesting it's going around in circles, wasting time. Kicking around on a piece of ground in your own town, waiting for someone or something to show the way. Tired of lying in the sunshine, staying home to watch the rain. You are young and life is long, and there is time to kill today. When you're young, you think you've got all the time in the world. You've got time to kill. That's what we say. To kill time. Nothing can be more precious than time. And I tell you, boys and girls, when you come to my age, you realize that in youth, you're looking at time through the wrong end of a telescope. When you get to my age, you look at the other way around, whoa, everything was so close, so short. But no, there's lots of time kicking around, killing time. And then one day, you find 10 years ago have gone behind you. No one told you when to run. You missed the starting gun. A killer of a line. Yeah, and I should say to my boys, don't miss the starting gun. Oh, shut up, Dan. You missed the starting gun. Fantastic line. Very clever. So you run and you run to catch up with the sun, but it's sinking. Racing around to come up behind you again. Again, this is that line there has got an echo of Wordsworth. Wordsworth talks about the youth who daily farther from the east must travel. Wordsworth talks about a young person travelling east, away from the sun. And there it is. The sun is the same in a relative way, but you're older, shorter of breath, and one day closer to death. So now we've gone through teenagehood very quickly. Suddenly here we are in old age. Every year is getting shorter. Never seem to find the time. Plans that either come to naught or half a page is full of lines. Hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way. Another fantastic killer of a line. Here we are in middle age, hanging on, living in a bungalow, washing your car on Sunday, living with a partner you detest, but you're hanging on in quiet desperation. This line is not totally there. The line comes from Thoreau, the American writer who wrote Walden 150 years ago. And Walden in Thoreau says, most men lead lives of quiet desperation. But Pink Floyd have used this and put it in the English context and recreated the sentence, which is fine. It's how we use language, how we use art. Hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way. The time has gone, the song is over, thought I had something more to say. And remember Hamlet saying, the rest is silence, as Hamlet faces death. And this is their Shakespearean line, I thought I had something more to say. It's such a depressing end, I don't think they could stop there. So they have a segue, so the music starts and it ends with a lovely little bit about, home, home again, I like to be here when I can, home, yeah, there you go. So it segues from that very depressing end. He saves us from being too depressed, and it comes to now, I like to get home when I can. It's good to warm my bones beside the fire, far away across the fields. The tolling of the iron bell calls the faithful to their knees to hear this. If you go to the Church of England, if you go to England, anywhere you look on the horizon you'll see a church tower. And at the heart of the Church of England, the heart of the Church of England is music. Like at your church. The heart of the Gregorian Church is music. And the Anglican Church is the same. We've got beautiful music. And I think the whole idea is to try and bring a little bit of heaven down. Show people what heaven's like. So this is so good that the softly spoken magic spells in the church. So let's hear it. Growing old, losing our vision again, losing time, so real. And again, listen to the beginning. There's no hurry. These guys are the most middle class of all English, the most educated, the most middle class of all English groups, and they're not in a hurry. We think of that as being a very middle class trait. If you're working class, you get paid on a Friday, and you go out and spend it. Have a good time. Monday it's all gone. If you're middle class, you save it, and you keep it for later. And these guys are always saving and keeping. And we call it, in sociological terms, we call it deferred gratification. They're not going to enjoy it now, they're going to enjoy the denouement later on. So let's hear it again, all that, and again, watch out for Gilmore's intense lyricism in his guitar playing. Here we go.